You're live.
All right, we have to wait just a sec. We got to have a way to record the meeting. So we're just going to hold on just for,
We need the jump drive
I guess we have a,
for the transcriptionist.
give us 1 sec and then we'll start. Good evening. I will now call to order the December 16th, 2025 Planning and Zoning Commission. I am Chair Kent Thurston. First on the agenda is the conflict of interest. Does any member of the commission or any member of city staff have any known conflict of interest with any item on the agenda? All right, seeing none. We're going to go on to public participation. We have public participation at this time. I'd like to invite anyone from the public to come and speak on anything that is not on the agenda under new business. So if you are here for one of the items on new business, this is not the time to come up and speak, but this is for things that are not on this new business. If you do have anything, I'll give you 2 minutes, and we'll start on the left if someone has anything that's not on the new business agenda. I guess my left, your right. And I don't have to swear you in, so go ahead and
Good evening.
just state your name and go ahead and.
My name is Joshua Barella. I wanted to know who I could speak with, the city's contractors or whatever about the development there on Spitz Road, the 58 residential being built. I just was wanting to see if I could get some kind of a direction on who I may be able to speak with to see if I can be a part or find out more about getting a part of that project.
On that project, you can probably speak with staff either after the meeting or when it's tomorrow at probably community development area. That will be through those doors on the other side, and you can get some more information through staff.
What time is that at?
Say that again.
What time is that at?
When's it opening? 8 o'clock, 8 to 5.
Oh, okay. All day?
Yep,
Thank you, sir.
thanks.
You have a good night.
And now on the right side, anybody that has any questions, come on up.
Good evening. My name is George Pearson. The city has a very good system set up for the boards and committees for when agendas are posted, an email gets sent out, and so citizens can sign up for that and receive the email. However, the Planning and Zoning Commission has moved away from that to the same system that City Council uses, and there is no email as part of that. So maybe for about a year now, I haven't been receiving notifications of the meetings because that's what I use as my mechanism. So I wonder, is a solution if maybe just every time you move the agenda to the iCompass system, that you just post an update to the old system where the email then can go out? Thank you.
Thank you. We'll have staff look into that one. Anybody else for public participation? Okay, seeing none, I'm going to turn this off. Now we're going to move on to the acceptance of the agenda. This includes the minutes and items on consent. Tonight there's none on consent. Okay, so I guess we can move, but we need to have a motion and a second to accept the agenda with the removal of item 6.3 in its entirety from the agenda.
I'll make a motion to accept tonight's agenda, but remove item 6.3.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that motion.
Okay.
Do I need to read this note as well? Before you call the vote, I just wanted to read the letter that I have here as from the applicant as to the reasoning. It says, "Good afternoon. I ask that the following be read at the P&Z tonight. On the one hand, you have photographs of an obviously mixed-use location and letters in support about what's effective in keeping historic neighborhoods vibrant, consistent with the reality that they were developed before zoning restrictions existed. On the other hand, longtime residents express fears that allowing the same flexibility that exists very nearby for a property that stares at industrial uses will destroy what both sides want to preserve. Under no reasonable interpretation of the law could it be a spot zone. I am attaching case law for Jane Grider as promised. I believe that zoning that would allow more flexibility in use, particularly for professional, non-retail offices for 249 South Miranda, would be best for the long-term interest of the Alameda District. As interpreted by staff, the Alameda overlay will continue to undermine the goal of keeping the area vibrant, consistent with the reality that it was designed as a mixed-use area and needs flexibility. But since I plan to sell, I will respect the concerns of my immediate neighbors, particularly Jane Grider and Annie Maxwell, and withdraw the application. The process has been continually flawed, but I will address that separately. Thank you for your time."
Okay, this is on the motion to accept the agenda. Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner McCaslin?
Yes.
Commissioner Acosta?
Yes.
Commissioner Murray?
Yes.
Commissioner Kaiser?
Yes.
And Chair.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so new business. Here we're on to new business. We need to have a motion to hear we got to have a motion to hear the items after discussion, public participation, then roll call will be called. So I need a motion and a second to discuss item 6.1.
I move that we discuss item 6.1.
Mr. Chair, I'll second that motion.
And now do you want me to also do a motion and a second to hear items 6.1 and 6.2 concurrently? Because the 6.1 is the master plan and 6.2 is the preliminary plat for the same property. So I need to see if I can get a motion and a second to hear those concurrently.
I'll make a motion to hear items 6.1 and 6.2 concurrently.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a second on that.
This is on the motion to hear items 6.1 and 6.2 concurrently. Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner McCaslin?
Yes.
Commissioner Acosta?
Yes.
Commissioner Murray?
Yes.
Commissioner Kaiser?
Yes.
Chair.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to turn the time over to staff.
Good evening, Commission. Tonight, my name is John Castillo for the record. Tonight we have Coyote Crossing subdivision, master plan and preliminary plat. The current conditions is the properties are located south of Hanson Avenue and west of Spitz Avenue. It currently encompasses approximately 10.954 acres. It's undeveloped vacant property. The current zoning on the property is R1A, which is our single family medium density zoning district. It also falls within the suburban neighborhood place type and is also predominantly surrounded by single family residential development, so it's not out of nature. As we can see here on the zoning map, the subject property include all of these that are highlighted. This is what it looks like on our aerial map. It's just a vacant property. So the master plan proposes a residential development on multiple parcels of land that will be built in a single phase. Parcel 1, which would take approximately 5.876 acres, is zoned R1A, and it'll contain various housing types. Tracks A through C are approximately 2.802 acres, and these will be utilized for drainage, open space, and which will be maintained and owned by the developer. Track D will be dedicated to the city of Las Cruces for Spitz Avenue, or Spitz Street, I'm sorry. As we can see here from the master plan, these two right here are the tracks that are going to be for drainage and open space. There's a small tract right here that will be for landscaping and a community sign. And then this part right here is the tract that's going to be dedicated to the city for future expansion of Spitz. The preliminary plat proposes, once again, a residential development. It's going to be developed with 58 residential lots of various sizes, and it will have both attached and detached housing. Once again, tracks A through track C, they're going to be approximately 2.806 acres used for drainage, open space, and landscaping. And track D will be utilized for the expansion of Spitz Street. Here's an image of the preliminary plat. Notice was sent to all relevant agencies and departments. All supported the proposed master plan and preliminary plat. Notice was also sent to all surrounding properties within 500 feet. Staff has received at that time that the presentation was created, staff received one email and several phone calls. I have provided another email to you guys as well that came in later on today with opposition and providing the following concerns of traffic safety, well-being for the neighborhood, and then the density of the subdivision itself. Staff recommends approval based on the following goals, actions, and policies outlined in Elevate Las Cruces Comprehensive Plan. The proposed subdivision will allow for the development of alternative housing types, and the proposed master plan and preliminary plat comply with the requirements and standards of the City of Las Cruces Subdivision Code. On November 19th, the Development Review Committee, or DRC, who reviews subdivisions from an infrastructure, utilities, and improvement standpoint, provided a recommendation of approval with conditions for both the master plan and preliminary plat. Those conditions being that if the master plan is not approved by December 31st, the developer must dedicate parkland or pay a fee in lieu, as well as the developer must install the primary gas line as lots developed. The builder may choose whether or not to connect the gas service to each residence. So your options today are to vote yes to approve, vote no to deny, vote to amend, or vote to table.
Does the applicant have a presentation that they would like to give tonight? It's not necessary. It's just, it's if you would like to or not. You don't have to.
Hi, my name is Davey Salas.
Do I have to swear him in on this? Okay.
Okay.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Thank you.
Again, my name is Davey Salas. Just a few notes on this subdivision. This subdivision has been in development for several years. Initially, it was developed as a single single-family resident. It is a single-family resident subdivision, but there wasn't multi townhouse, like townhouse single-family lots. There are single-family homes in there. There's a few of them. Anyways, the point being, what I wanted to say is that it has been in development for quite a long time. We have taken into consideration some of the issues the city has brought forth, especially with the traffic situation. There are deacceleration lanes in there. As we all know, Spitz is a collector within that street, and also it's probably not more than a quarter mile, maybe a little bit further than a quarter mile, probably less than a quarter mile from Three Crosses, which from a standpoint of traffic, I don't really think that's going to be an issue, since it's so close to exiting that subdivision to begin with. What were the other concerns, John? I think safety is, in reference to safety, I think, personally, I think that it's going to be an addition to a benefit to the neighborhood. We're bringing affordable housing into the area. Also, there have been a lot of homeless encampments there. Those will all they won't be allowed there anymore, so that area will be developed, and I think it'll enhance the neighborhood from that standpoint. So, don't know. Okay, nothing else.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, we're going to go on to some discussion. Is there any items that council would like to bring up? Sorry, I always call it council, it's commission. I don't know why.
Well, just in reading, one of the emails in opposition, I do have a question about traffic and just the walkability as far as the development grows. There was some concerns about lack of sidewalks once this area is developed, and also there was a question concerning a traffic study. And I'm just curious myself, was there a traffic study conducted?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Smith, at the time of the master plan that was developed, there was what we call an ITE trip generation done. At time of construction, there will most likely be another type of traffic study done as well. As the applicant has stated as well, we are going to provide, they will provide deceleration lanes and other types of mitigation to help move traffic along on Spitz. As far as the road construction goes, because of the classification of Spitz Street being a collector, they are only going to be constructing the west half, which would be on their side of the property only. The eastern half where the park and other development is already built out. So if there were to be sidewalks put on that, it would have to be a city-initiated project.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, go ahead.
Staff, I do have a question. If we approve this tonight, is that with the conditions that the DRC has recommended or put those conditions on? Is that what we're approving?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Acosta, yes, that is correct.
Go ahead.
I have just a couple questions on that traffic piece. So if I understand correctly, the applicant is going to be required to install deceleration lanes on Spitz Avenue?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Kaiser, the applicant will be required to do some form of mitigation, whether that is in the form of deceleration lanes. That will be determined once construction drawings come in.
Okay. What would the applicant be required to address actual traffic safety concerns? Because I have many on this stretch of road. I'm just curious, is that factored into what you call mitigation, or is it just purely deceleration lane, make traffic go faster down Spitz?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Kaiser, I can't exactly speak to that at this time because I'm not quite sure as to what our traffic engineers look for as far as mitigating any type of traffic to make it either move faster through Spitz or slow it down.
Well, I would encourage the city to seriously consider the safety aspects of this. There's a park right across the street on Spitz Avenue from this development. For at least a year, if not longer, there was one of those check your speed radar things out there directly across the street from the park. In my experience, granted I'm just one individual, in all the times that I have gone through there, which I would estimate is probably several times a month when I'm out on a run, I can probably count on one hand the number of drivers that actually stayed below the posted speed limit. Every single time a driver drives by me when I'm out on the run, it's flashing for them to slow down, and I never saw anyone step on the brakes. So I encourage the city to seriously look at the safety issues, not from a how do we move traffic through here faster or more efficiently, but from a serious safety perspective of kids and residents accessing a park that's literally directly across the street from them. A deceleration lane on Spitz Avenue, in my opinion, is completely not appropriate. We need traffic to slow down there, not accelerate through that corridor. Spitz Avenue, I think you listed it as a major collector, but for all intents and purposes, that's a residential street. And so that would be my suggestion to staff, is to seriously take those safety concerns seriously. That's all I have.
I have a clarification question, just regarding the gas line. So in the DRC meetings, it sort of read like there would not be gas because there's no gas going to the homes, but then in the presentation, it says there is going to be a gas line. Is that going to be put in?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner McCaslin, yes, there will be the main utility gas line placed in that lies underneath the right-of-way, but the individual lots will have their choice of to provide that utility.
Thank you.
Can you pull up their master plan image there? Do we have a Google Earth shot of this area that we can see? Because what I'm curious about is the walkability. You should have a decent walk score in this area for the new residents that are there, because it is close to their shopping. You have a grocery store, you have other things like that. So it is a great walk score. You have the park right in front. But my concerning question was the connectivity of of an actual path. I know there's something in the city code that allows us to ask not necessarily the developer, but the other adjoining property owners, if there's not a sidewalk in front of theirs, there's some type of a mechanism that you can get them to put the sidewalk in front of theirs. If there is a actual building on it at that time, you can have them improve that area. I guess my question is there a sidewalk from the current property all the way to the intersection?
Mr. Chair, there is a sidewalk that is within the front of these properties, and then it turns into a type of what looked like on the Google Street View, which I don't have here, but it did look like a type of a multi-use path. It may not have been an actual paved path, but more of just rock that was in front of the property.
So does the city have any type of mechanism? I think there's some mechanism in there that we can at least get the pavement, or not the pavement, the sidewalk from the new development at least to the edge of, it looks like that must be like in another apartment complex or something right there, the business at the very bottom. What mechanism do you have to make that more walkable? Because it should have a good walk score.
Mr. Chair, unfortunately, the only way that we could get new sidewalks to be added to an existing lot is when new development happens on those lots. Just like when a new home gets built, sidewalks get installed when that home gets built as well. The city, unfortunately, does have a number of what we call our sidewalk gap map in the city, and this, unfortunately, is just one of them where we have that gap. That being said, though, we do have our capital improvement program where the city council at the time will take a look at that and see if there's viable abilities for the city to go out there and actually fill in that gap, if you will, and provide for that connectivity from the new subdivision down to that intersection as you were stating. That being said, though, we got to remember our traffic impact analysis take into account not just cars, they take into account pedestrian, they take into account walkability, bicycles, all modes of transportation. So our traffic impact analysis will be reviewed from all those standpoints as well. And if they deem appropriate for something to happen, that'd be something the applicant will be required to do at the time of final plat and construction drawings before they can get approved, of course.
Okay, because I just did a development there off of McGuffey, and on that road, I was required to do the west side. The east side had already been developed, but there was some kicker in there that had those people, the owners of that piece, put their sidewalk in. So there is something in there that, and they did not develop, they didn't subdivide. There's something in the code. Anyways, I would just have us look at that we can, at least on the connectivity, find a way to have a pathway there that is in front of it. Because the increased traffic and the higher not necessarily higher density, but you're going to have townhomes in there, and be able to have that walkability would be nice. That it's not just thrown on the developer, but there's also a method to get the sidewalks in there.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, agreed. The McGuffey situation was basically not only the developer at the time and the city, but also those property owners kind of came together and came to an agreement because road improvements were required on McGuffey. That essentially didn't happen when development came in. So because of that, we actually got together. That agreement was placed between yourself, the other property owner, and the city as to what we would accept, and that's what was essentially done. And that's how that agreement came into place, sir.
Okay, I just wanted to see if because that is, this area down here has not been developed for many years. And so, and this piece of property here on the corner also has quite a few easements that go through it, which makes it a little bit hard to develop that last little triangle piece. And so that might be a couple more years. So if there's a way to put that on, I don't know, yeah, if there's a way to make sure that with this application, we can actually put it on so we can start to have some, but yeah, not with this application, but with whatever mechanisms we have with the city, this is a good space to start using those funds. I know we've just increased it some, we got the extra tax dollars or anything. Anyways, you guys know the programs. I would like to find a way to see if we could focus on that area. So the connectivity for pedestrians would be very good.
Sure thing, Mr. Chair. We could definitely reach out to our Public Works Department if they can put that on their list for the CIP, sir.
I have one other thing that I just kind of thought was interesting. This is kind of it's continuing. This will be the last one that we'll see because the new rules have came out. But it's interesting to see that all of the park impact fees have become a source of topic on every DRC that we have seen, and it keeps saying, as long as you get it in before December 31st, you won't have to pay park impact fees or in lieu fees or other things like that. When we passed the Elevate Las Cruces, this board here went and passed it, but saying that we should pay attention to those fees and to realize. And then city council got it and just passed it on through. And now we're finally seeing the ramifications of it, that these park fees are actually something that is deterring people to want to do certain developments and spurring it to do it quicker to be able to get away from some of these fees. I just think that's going to become an issue in the future. We can't really do anything. It's all voted on, but I would like just to point that out, that has been a note on almost every person's application, that even when the city application came in, that was one of the, we want this park fee to not affect that one. So park fees will be affecting the future development. That's just more of a statement than anything. So I'm going to go to anybody else who has any more questions.
Just wanted to, on your comments on the sidewalk, is there would the city require a study to decide whether or not to require the applicant and the developer to put in a sidewalk, or not a sidewalk, a crosswalk across Spitz from the new intersection that they'd be constructing there on, is it Dine Drive, am I pronouncing that correctly, to the park?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Kaiser, yes, that'll be part of the construction plans and any further trip analyses.
So the applicant's going to be required to install a crosswalk?
That is correct.
What about traffic calming to ensure that cars actually slow down when people enter the crosswalk?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Kaiser, the traffic impact analysis will take that into account. For instance, just like when Chick-fil-A went on University, they were required to pay for that hawk system that went in there. Other developments that went in when McDonald's did their big restoration of their building, they're required to add that hawk system. So again, traffic impact analysis is an all-encompassing study that takes not only into account the traffic, but also pedestrian traffic. So that will probably be part of the actual impact analysis, sir, with that park being there.
Yeah, I guess it's perplexing to me that we need to conduct a study to come to the conclusion that people are going to cross the road to access a park that's on the other side of Spitz. It seems like that should be fairly obvious, and I'm concerned that traffic study is going to make this something bigger than it really is, and we're going to come out with, instead of a pretty simple crossing to the park, we're going to need to install a $500,000 hawk signal because we decided we needed to prioritize through traffic instead of children's safety accessing the park across the street from their house. So,
yeah, Mr. Chair, Commissioner Kaiser, definitely agree. University was the only example that came to mind. Although we got to remember at that time, University's grade for its traffic was extremely bad, which is why a full hawk system was required. But that being said, since there is an actual park facility across the street, sir, that will have to be taken into account by our traffic engineering section. Staff will make sure that we make them aware of it as well, sir. Considering this is a collector roadway as well, so it is a designated thoroughfare, sir.
All right, if anybody go ahead, and then I'll open it up to public participation.
I have one more question for the applicant. Staff, could you go back to the plan? Yeah. I was trying to see if Spitz was going to be the major entrance and exit point for this development. It's pretty small. My old man eyes can't read this thing too closely, but how many entrance and exit points will there be for this development?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Smith, there's going to be 2 points of egress, both entry and exit. Primarily, yes, the main one will be in alignment with Dine right here off of Spitz. The second one will be Spitz and Hanson. Hanson will get improved up until the entrance here. I apologize, I can't read that one, what street that is either. But those two will be the 2 points of access.
Yeah, that's a lot of units for just 2 egress points. Thank you.
All right, we're going to open it up to public participation. All right, the way public participation works is it's not really a lot of the times people come up and want us to answer the question right away. We're not the forum that this is. You will get up and you'll ask your questions. We'll give you the 2 minutes to basically ask your questions. We'll compile your questions basically together and then have staff or the applicant go ahead and do that. So we'll start here on your right, my left, on this side. For those who would like to come in, and I will need to have you state your name and we will swear you in. So go ahead and come on up. Welcome. Go ahead and state your name.
My name is Adeline McIntosh.
All right, Adeline. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
And go ahead.
Good evening, City Councilor and the Planning and Zoning Commission. My name is Adeline McIntosh, and I am in the 6th grade in our home school, Legacy Oaks Preparatory Academy. I'm here this evening to express my concerns for the proposed subdivision development project in our neighborhood that you know as the Coyote Run. I have lived in this neighborhood all my life, which is 11 years, and I'm greatly concerned about my safety and my friends' safety, and of course everyone in our neighborhood. My two concerns are all about the traffic and our parks. I'm worried about the traffic because there's a park right across the street from the proposed development, and I'm worried that the traffic will get so bad that it won't be safe for kids like me and my brother who can ride our bikes safely to and from the park. My second reason of concern is how can we keep 58 lots maintained if we can't even add a slide for our park, which has been without a slide for a year now. With all due respect, I do not believe this project is safe to proceed, but if it does, I suggest the following: to have more signage like Yield for Children and reduced speed limits and even maybe a couple speed bumps. Thank you very much for your time and hearing my concerns.
Thank you. All right, let me reset this. All right, go ahead and state your name.
Braden McIntosh.
All right, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Go ahead.
Good evening, City Councilor and Planning and Zoning Commission. My name is Braden McIntosh, and I'm an 8th grade homeschool student. My family lives near the Coyote Crossing development, and I would like to share some of my concerns from the perspective of a kid who lives here. Understand that growth is important for a community, but I am worried about how this development could affect safety, especially for kids like me. Me and my friends often bike to the park to play sports and just get some of our energy out. It's something we enjoy, and our parents feel comfortable letting us go because our neighborhood is relatively safe. However, the road we use is already narrow, with only one lane in each direction, and cars often drive way too fast. Even now, biking there can feel dangerous. If this development moves forward, there will be more families, more cars, and more traffic. That makes me wonder how kids will be protected when biking or walking to the park. Will increase traffic? It seems likely that the risk of kids will increase as well. Another concern is the park itself. Our park has not been well maintained. For example, we have not had slides for over a year. If the city is already struggling to maintain the park, it is hard to understand how it will safely handle more people and more traffic around it. I know there may be possible solutions to some of these problems, but from my perspective, these problems raise serious safety concerns for kids and families who already live here. For these reasons, I respectfully oppose the Coyote Crossing development as it is currently proposed. I believe it would increase traffic and pose serious safety risks for kids and families who already live there. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my concerns and for considering the impact this decision will have on the children in our community.
Thank you. All right, please state your name.
Good evening, City Councilor and members of the Planning and Zoning Commission. My name is Jaylene McIntosh.
Okay, Jane.
Oh, yes,
Do
sir.
you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under penalty of law?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thanks. Go ahead.
I've been a resident of Las Cruces for nearly 20 years, and I've called the Las Cruces Country Club Estates home for over a decade. I live roughly half a mile from the proposed Coyote Crossing development. You've just heard from my children who shared thoughtful concerns about safety, park maintenance, and possible solutions. I do appreciate their constructive solutions-oriented approach, However, I want to be clear that the position of our family and that of many of our neighbors is that this development should not proceed as proposed. These are my top concerns I would like to bring to your attention: traffic flow and safety, the impact on our neighborhood park, and the need for thorough review before irreversible decisions are made for our neighborhood. First, traffic flow and safety are already a challenge in our neighborhood, which has limited access points. During the recent road construction on North Main and Highway 70 between Main and Elks and between Main and Three Crosses Solano intersection, we experienced significant overflow traffic on neighborhood streets such as Spitz, Lenox, and Camino Real. That congestion was temporary, yet it clearly demonstrated how sensitive this area is to changes in traffic patterns. In addition, the city bike path at the Spitz and the Camino Real intersection is already dangerous for cyclists and pedestrians. Adding 58 or more residential units would permanently increase traffic in an area that is already strained. Second, increased congestion would directly impact our neighborhood park and the families who rely on it. The park is where children walk, bike, and play, and where families and neighbors gather. It provides a small hometown feel that matters deeply to its residents. The city is already struggling to maintain the park's infrastructure. Placing a large-scale residential development directly across from the park would further reduce safety and accessibility for the families who currently use it. I just have a couple of more statements. If I can use my kids' time, that would be great. If you all would allow that, I would appreciate it to close.
Let me give you one more minute.
Thank you.
How do I change this thing?
Finally, before any irreversible decisions are made due to this project, the proposal must undergo thorough study and transparent review. While we do recognize that growth is necessary, responsible growth should preserve the safety and the livability of the existing neighborhoods, not undermine them. Ultimately, we're asking you to carefully consider whether Coyote Crossing, as currently proposed, truly serves the long-term interests of the families and the children who already live in the area. Growth should strengthen communities, not strain them or place their safety at risk. We respectfully ask that the Planning and Zoning Commission, that you all deny approval to this project due to the lack of safety studies, as none were addressed or presented this evening. Therefore, as presented, it would compromise our neighborhood safety, not enhance it. Thank you so much for your time and for your consideration. Thank you for the extra time.
Thank you. Go ahead and state your name.
Alan Carew.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under penalty of law?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
If you'd be so kind as to put up the master plan again, because it was hard to, there it is. I was trying to get a clear copy, a photograph of it. And I had a question specifically about the planned, planned extension of Dine. I'm concerned that the slope coming up from the floodplain up onto Dine is going to be excessive. That's the, you guys can't see it, but it's the, that is quite a steep slope at that point. And I would hope to hear from the Planning Commission if there are standards for, in Las Cruces for road grading and for specifically for maximum accessible road slope. That's a concern for mine. I'd also like to follow along on Scott Kaiser's comments. I live just north of this, within a quarter mile, and see exactly the same thing, that this is, Spitz is a unusually high traffic street with rarely observed speed limits, and I'm concerned about an increase in the number of persons coming in and out. I think that that Hanson, in its current state, based on where the road runs with regard to the floodplain, would be acceptable without an excessive slope coming up to the point of coming onto Spitz. So I appreciate your consideration with reviewing that slope and the slope requirements. Thank you.
Thank you. Or anybody else on the left? Go ahead. I guess I should say you're right. Go ahead and come on up. Please state your name.
Julianne Bauer.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Go ahead.
Good evening, City Councilor and Commission. I live directly on Lennox off of Spitz. I'm 3 houses down from the park. And my husband and I have lived there for 21 years, and we have seen the increase on the traffic on Lennox, on Spitz. The 4-way stop behind Albertsons, now the stoplight on 3 Crosses, has been put to try and help the traffic flow, and it really hasn't with the amount of the community that's there now. Having 58 more homes, if there's 2 drivers at each home, you're making a situation a lot worse than it already is. Again, I echo what everyone else has said about the traffic, the safety. No one does the speed limit on Spitz. It's 25 miles an hour. You go down there, you have someone on your butt, and if you make a left turn or a right turn, you're lucky you're not rear-ended while you're looking out for kids playing at the park. Having this other subdivision that's built, I just think needs to be reconsidered, tone down the amount of homes. I personally will miss the view of Picacho from Spitz, from my backyard. I know this has been in the works for quite a while, but it seems like something else could be done with the property. Instead of townhomes, I don't see the call for that, since we have 8-building apartment complex that was just built on Spitz, or on 3 Crosses. I appreciate what Commissioner Kaiser said. It's a crapshoot when you're on that street. We walk our dog every day. We see people just hauling butt. There's a speed bump that's on the other side towards Hanson that tries to deter people. It doesn't. People that live off of, I just forgot the street. Anyway, it's obscured view when you're on that street. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on this side? Got one more coming on up. Go ahead and state your name.
My name's Joshua Barella.
All right. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under penalty of law?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
I support what was stated about signs for watch children with the park, with the development's going to happen. Also, any other signs for neighborhood watch, maybe also just additions for the kids, mainly. Because more residentials, there's going to be more children, there's going to be more traffic, and that's the most important, because it is our next generations that these developments are going to be affecting. But it's better for us to be effective instead of allowing for what we approve or disapprove or support or not support that affect, and people are affected. It's better to be effective as a community. Positive influences. If I could say that to everybody in the community. Everybody's a member of their community, but it's about being a positive influence. Here in our community. So stay active. Stay active in our communities. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move to this side. Your left, my right. Go ahead and come on up. Please state your name.
My name is Carol Swigard.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under penalty of law?
I do.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Like several others, I'm also very concerned about the increase of traffic on Spitz Street with this subdivision coming about. So I have a question. Can another access point be made on the west side of that subdivision on Camino del Rey to help alleviate perhaps some of the traffic on Spitz? If I lived in that subdivision, I would want 2 access points, Spitz and then also another street. My second question is, if this subdivision comes about, then is it possible to widen Spitz Street and create a center lane where those residents can go to that center lane, turn left, while the other traffic can continue? Thank you.
Thank you. All right, anybody else on this side? Okay. All right, we're going to now close. Oh, there you go. Come on up.
Hi, Planning and Zoning. My name is Leah Salas, and
Leah, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth under penalty of law?
yes, I do.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thanks for having me. I just wanted to state my husband had started this. He was a dreamer. Ralph Salas, born and raised right up the street on Doñana Road. He always has been a dreamer, and we had a family. Safety is always paramount in our family, but he also was a dreamer and wanted to build beautiful things. This is part of carrying on his legacy, but in a safe way. Running the traffic studies, make sure that it creates and adds to the community as a whole. There is the walking trail on Camino Real that could pull together with the park, and I like those ideas you had to connect the sidewalks as well. But what we would like to do is there has been a lot of apartments that have come about. The big idea around here now is affordable housing. Part of what his dream was to help the smaller builders. We're getting big companies come in, but that have their own families, and to provide work, but also we changed the format to have townhomes, to maybe where instead of selling out to maybe some of the big companies to buy all the lots, we could help the smaller builders from here that could have their own, buy a townhome, build one, and have another one that they could live in. And to help create community with the people from here as well, not just people coming in. And safety's always been paramount, and we would do a really good job. Safety and family is what we're all about, and I'm asking to approve this. Another thing that we wanted to do, which I'll throw in, but I wanted to donate a lot, build Ralphie's house in his memory, and donate to one of the charities in Cruces, maybe the Boys Club, I don't know what, but to help with his legacy in building Las Cruces for many, many years. And I'd really appreciate your hope and your vote, and I can promise that it'll be a beautiful subdivision. He always enjoyed building beautiful things, and I can assure you, we'll look at make sure that safety is of paramount, but also to help add community to people from here that are looking for affordable housing.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks. All right, any more public comment that has not already gone? Okay, I gotta. All right, we're gonna now close public comment, and we're gonna see if we can have another little discussion here. I have I wanted to say something about the traffic. I'm a home builder. We also do land development in this town. I have never been able to do anything that is not for the safety of the citizens. The staff will not allow me to build something that's not safe. Yes, it does always increase traffic. We always increased development will always increase traffic. However, I'm not allowed to do anything that is not safe. And so as it goes through, there's really nothing that the city staff, I mean, I've had to do quite a bit with them, and they will not let me do anything that's not safe. So as far as the traffic goes, there are different means of doing traffic calming devices, or there's other means by which they can make the increased traffic safe. And that will be produced in a TIA. So this is just a preliminary plat. Well, this is a master plan and a preliminary plat. So I just wanted to reassure that there's really nothing that's going to allow to be basically a non-safe neighborhood. However, people may have different opinions of how that is actually safe. You have some engineers that will make roads wider, and that says it's safe, and you have some that say narrower roads actually make it more safe to keep the speed down. So there's a difference in opinions in which there is safety for that, but once again, the city will not allow something to not be safe. I had one question on the park. The 58 lots has to pay park impact fees, is that correct?
Mr. Chair, Catherine Harrison Rogers for the record. Yes, you're correct. At the time of individual building permit for each residential unit, park impact fees will be paid.
Okay, is there any way that some of those park impact fees can be allocated to the park adjacent? My question is this in a, it seems like it's not in a park, what do you call it, a park gap? Is this area okay for the amount of park?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, again, Catherine for the record. This particular park is considered a neighborhood park. The development is within a quarter-mile walkshed of said park, and so it's meeting our target goals for that. And if there is some new level of service, i.e. something that didn't exist in the park before, for example, if we wanted to add a splash pad, we're not at this juncture, but if we were to do something like that, because it's a new feature, not otherwise provided in that park, we could use park impact fees. However, for something like improvements to existing amenities or replacement of that playground, those impact fees cannot be used. We have to find other sources to pay for that.
So if the developer of the place was able to make a negotiation with parks, there's a possibility of adding something to that park, but not current features, but possibly adding something different, if that is an avenue in which can be negotiated.
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, I do want to clarify, we've got sort of two things at hand. Realize Las Cruces also has, of course, the requirements for constructing a park or doing an alternative like a fee in lieu that is separate and distinct from park impact fees. In this particular case, because of when they started the process, which was quite a long time ago, they fell under the old code, and so they're not obligated to do that, especially with the timing right now, if they are approved in advance of that deadline that we discussed at the beginning of the meeting. So we didn't negotiate with them to do any improvements to said park, but we're certainly open to those discussions if they would like to, for example, replace a playground that is no longer in a state whereby we can find parts for it. I know that people are concerned about the slide, as was mentioned by a few of the members of the public. Unfortunately, we can't just replace the slide. We actually have to remove the entire structure and replace the entire structure, and we've been actively seeking funds for that.
Okay, so I just want to point that out, that there might be a way that there could be some negotiations there on the new development, helping out the current park using the park impact fees that will have to be paid for that area anyways. So it could be one of the ways that we're not adding an additional layer to the developer. You could just use the existing funds and find some type of means to improve that with those park impact fees. There was a question that they had on slope for the roads. There are construction standards in which the engineers must obey those guidelines. So yes, the slope will be built and the subdivision will be built according to the engineering guidelines so that the roads are safe. Another question, there's too many units per the subdivision. Really, you can go in many other parts of the country, other parts of this town, that there's higher densities But as long as it is safe, there's many ways. I think the biggest issue was the safety, but there are many ways that you can see even big towns that have the population that will exceed ours, and they find many ways to make it safe. So I think those were the ones that I wanted to kind of touch on, and if you guys have any other questions for staff or anyone else, go ahead.
I just wanted to make two really quick points. One, I think the evidence is pretty clear that there are ways to make a street like Spitz more accommodating to pedestrians and younger residents who are accessing the park. Drivers drive like they do on Spitz because it was engineered from a driver's perspective and to move traffic through there as quickly as possible. So drivers are basically doing what engineers encouraging them to do through the design of the roadway. The evidence is pretty overwhelming that that is not how we continue to make our streets safe for pedestrians. We heard from our younger residents this evening list out a couple of ideas, and they didn't need a traffic study to come up with those ideas. So I think those were pretty common sense. Reducing speed limits, it's already 25 miles an hour, installing speed bumps, particularly on this section of Spitz right in front of the park, and signs for pedestrians. Those seem like very easy things to do, and this development presents an opportunity for those things to become a reality, and I strongly encourage staff to just use common sense here. We don't need a traffic study to tell us how to make this safe. We know what to do. My last point is I just want to say thank you to our young residents who came up and spoke this evening. Very well done. Super brave. I can't even imagine myself in your shoes at that age doing what you did tonight. So thank you for coming out here. Hope to see you again at some other future meetings. I just want to say, regardless of the decision that gets made up here tonight, don't get discouraged. Keep showing up. Keep speaking out. Thank you.
I just wanted to add, that was one of my comments. I wanted to commend the two young people that came up, the brother and sister. Your thoughts and your concerns were very well prepared, and they're also very well articulated. And I commend you for that.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to
I think it's
present.
actually just a vote now, because we already have the motion.
So this is on the vote to approve item 6.1. Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner McCaslin?
Yes.
Commissioner Acosta?
Yes.
Commissioner Murray?
Yes.
Commissioner Kaiser?
Yes.
And Chair?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve item 6.2.
Second.
This is on the motion for item 6.2. Commissioner Smith?
Yes.
Commissioner McCaslin?
Yes.
Commissioner Acosta?
Yes.
Commissioner Murray?
Yes.
Commissioner Kaiser?
Yes.
And Chair?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, number 7. Is there any discussion? I don't think we have any items up there for discussion. Is there anything for staff for discussion? I don't think I have anything. All right, then we're going to go on. Go ahead.
Sorry, discussion is for y'all. If y'all had anything to discuss or bring up to staff at this time.
Yeah, do you guys have any items for discussion? Okay, staff announcements.
Last meeting of the year, folks, thank you so much. Starting January 1st, realize, aka now, the new Las Cruces Development Code will be in full effect, so definitely excited to do that. Staff's been doing their homework and getting that ready to go, so definitely excited to do that. That's all we have.
All right.
Happy holidays, folks.
So now we just need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn, Mr. Chair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.